Hello, everybody, and welcome to the weekly Oracle Wisdom. My name is Natalie Sadie, and hello to everybody that's joining me live on YouTube and on High Vibe. I have my wonderful friend Anne in the background helping me with this so that I'm able to be in both places at once. So, I hope that you've all had a great week. Anne and I just finished an episode of Gemini Rising with Jessica Carmody, JK Ultra's sister, and she is amazing in her own right. She is an Usui Reiki master. I hope I've pronounced it correctly. When you watch the episode, you'll see that I messed it up when we were going live with the show. And she was just fascinating. So it's a great episode to learn about Reiki and healing and Jess's journey, which is really, really interesting. And right now she's straddling the worlds of, a day job that she enjoys and isn't ready to give up, and the spiritual world with her Reiki practice. And it was just a really great conversation. So go check that out on my YouTube, which is at Miss Natalie Sadie. And if you're not already subscribed, make sure you do that. Set up notifications so that you never miss when we go live, because next Tuesday, after the public holiday, we will be going live with Alex Skiles, the astrologer who was a part of High Vibe for so long. We were meant to do that episode last week, but due to some things beyond our control, we had to postpone it, but we're incredibly excited for that episode. Love having Alex back with us. So with that said, let's get looking at the energies for the next week. I'm just about to drop all these cards. We are starting with a MahrukhX deck, but this one is messages from the Spirit Oracle. I thought we should mix things up a little bit. So the first card out is Performer, Chameleon and Concealment. Wearing a mask or taking on roles to fit in make it impossible to manifest your true desires. Create a life that feels good to you on the inside, not just one that looks good on the outside. So I think there's a difference between being a chameleon in terms of work and being able to relate to people, and being a chameleon in terms of actually altering who you are, altering your personality, altering how you present to the world in order to fit in and feel accepted. So I used to work in a sales job, and I was headhunted to go and work with a woman in real estate, which I ultimately didn't end up doing. But the reason she wanted to headhunt me was because I was a chameleon at work, in that I could speak to anyone of any age bracket. I could speak to an 80-year-old woman and make her feel really comfortable with me. I could speak to a mum with a little baby. I would always take their babies while they were trying clothes on and just walk around the store with the baby on my hip. And then if a teenager came in, I could have a conversation with them quite comfortably. So that is different to me trying to become something that I'm not to fit into this world. So we need to remember that if you are trying to take that position so that you fit in, or you are perceived as being normal, or you're trying to fit in with a particular group, it's never going to work out well, because by doing that, you're not embracing who you are. You're not attracting your tribe to you. As we move through this world, we really do need to land in a place that is authentic to who we are. We need to embrace who it is we are in order to walk the path that we are meant to walk in this world. So just keep that in mind. And maybe it's people around you that aren't being authentic. I don't know how you have that conversation with them. But if it's you that's wearing the mask and the costume, it's time to let that go and step into who you are. Passion ignited, desire and excitement. It's time to find joy in life's simple pleasures. Whenever you learn to enjoy in what lights you up, and that you're, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Okay, let me start that sentence again. Whenever you learn to enjoy in what lights you up, that your vibration will rise and attract more passion and contentment into your life. So this is a follow-on from the Performer card that we just pulled. This is This is what happens when you embrace who you are. And I always say when you embrace who you fully are, sometimes there are people in your life that will drop away and it can be really difficult, or are people that will give you resistance and question why you're doing that, why you're behaving that way. Essentially what they're asking is, why are you not responding in the way that I want you to? Because that is what they're used to. That is the version of you that serves them. And the reality is, this is where we have to trust who we are and stay true to ourselves and know that we're moving in the direction that is true to us, that is going to serve us, and that will ignite all the passions, because you're then walking the path that you are meant to be on. So I understand how uncomfortable that can be, because there have been moments in my life where I've had to shift, and I don't know if it was that I was trying to fit in, or if it was just that level of growth where you hit the next point where you need to expand and move forward. But it was time for me to make changes, and there were people along the way that questioned me, made fun of me, walked away from me, and ultimately I had to accept it. But that brings in everyone that was meant to be in my life and walk this path with me. Rock bottom: destruction, poverty, and loss. You have been building a life on unstable foundations, no matter how painful it might be to let go and watch the structure crumble so you can rebuild on a more solid foundation. So I don't take this. I get how dire this picture looks and how bad it sounds when we say rock bottom, but I think this is just confirmation of everything that I was saying in terms of losing things that no longer serve us. And if you've been pretending to be somebody else, if you've been trying to fit in and assimilate in a way that isn't authentic to you, when you start to shift your position and move on to your path, there are things that are going to crumble, like I said, and this is confirmation of that. The other thing is, as you do that, it may feel like your world is crashing and burning. It may just feel that there are things that are disappearing from your world. It's not a bad thing, because the reality is, if your life is built on an unstable foundation, it's never going to be a solid structure. You're never going to feel safe and secure. When you lose the things that aren't secure and you build on a solid foundation, because you are being true to who you are being honest, you are following the path that you are meant to be on, that's a solid foundation. And from there, everything that you build will be structurally sound. So just keep that in mind. It doesn't need to be as dire as that artwork looks, I promise you, but just remind yourself of what is happening if things do start falling away. Emotional loss, sorrow, and regret. At the end of this difficult journey lies something beneficial. Despite the sadness and difficulties, this experience is a blessing. Going through the grieving process leads to inner strength and power. So all of these cards are just confirming everything that I have already talked about. I don't need to go over this again, because it's essentially, it goes hand in hand with rock bottom. All of that ties together. When people are leaving our lives, when security of a job, or maybe you're moving home, or you're walking away from something that it feels like that tangible security is gone, that leads to emotions and emotional reactions. Just know that it's ultimately for your higher good. I know I mentioned the Gemini Rising with Jessica when we first started, the self-care librarian. We talk about her journey and how it all shifted and the shadow work. And I mean, I even said on the show, I talk about shadow work all the time and the journey that it is. And I think a journey like this involves a lot of shadow work. Why are we trying to fit into a place that isn't for us? Why are we looking for this self-acceptance? Why are we doing all of this? And when you do that shadow work and you figure it out, it becomes easier to be more authentic in who you are. And if you watch the episode, Jess talks about the layers of shadow work that she has done, where she started with shadow work, where she is now, and how that has affected her. So just keep that in mind. And if you're not ready, but we're just planting seeds for the direction that you will be moving in, that's a great place to start, especially when you're hearing somebody else's story and somebody else's journey. Next card out is Cosmic Dancer, optimism, hope, and rhythm. Lighten up, play, enjoy this moment. See the many blessings in your life, and more blessings will follow. Have faith that things are going to turn out beautifully. So even if there are these things that are falling away, you should feel joy when you're being truthful about who you are and what you need, what your desires are, where it is you want to go, and get excited about what it is you're moving to. And you have to find joy in that, even if you can feel these things falling away, even if there is this emotional moment. Find that hope, find the gratitude, because that will serve you as you're moving through. You do not want to get stuck in a moment of victim mentality and this woe is me space, because if you get stuck there, that's where you stay. If you're able to find the gratitude, if you're able to find the positive and enjoy those little moments, even if it's difficult that you're moving through, but there's a moment with somebody, whether it be new or somebody that maybe wasn't as present in your life, but they're stepping up because the authentic you is coming through, and you're able to have this wonderful moment or this wonderful interaction. Maybe it's somebody walking up to you on the street and saying, oh my gosh, you smell so good, or you look so beautiful, I love your dress or your pants, or whatever it is. Celebrate those moments, because when you celebrate those moments, more of them come. I keep thinking about when I first bought Bumble home. He was such a beautiful, gentle dog, but when we went out onto the street to walk, he would react, and he looked vicious, and he was a 63-pound dog, and he was an American Staffordshire Terrier, and everybody said, oh, he's a pit bull. There were people that were scared of him, and they would cross the street and essentially run away from us. And his behavior didn't help. It wasn't that he was trying to bite anyone, but he was so terrified that he was reactive to things going on around him. And I'm just talking about barking and being a douche. And I got in some trainers, and we worked incredibly hard. And there were days where we would get home from our walks, and he and I would both look defeated when the walk finished. And then there were days where we would get home and it was a good walk. There was no reaction. There was nothing bad happening, right? And I would get to the top of the stairs. He would always be a little bit ahead of me, and he would have a grin on his face, and I would be smiling ear to ear, and I would look at him and go, that was a good walk. And we would celebrate it. And when we celebrated it, those walks became more and more frequent, the good ones versus the bad ones, until one day there were no bad walks anymore. So you have to find your way through. You have to celebrate those wins. And they are wins, and it all shifts and gets better. And, you know, I've talked about this before. My favorite saying in the whole world is, this too shall pass. And it will. So even if you're going through transition right now, everything shifts. You're not going to be in transition forever. Next card out is Blue Moon, rare chance, unexpected luck. You're about to get a rare chance. Something extraordinary is coming your way. These opportunities don't come around too often. Grab hold of it, and you'll be happy you did. And I feel like this is coming up for those of you that are prepared to stop performing, stop being something that you're not, and step into your truth. And when you do that, the universe rewards you. It just does. So know that there is something really incredible coming around the corner. And when it appears, that is what you have to celebrate. So just keep that in mind. All right, I'm going to pull one more here. Restriction, limitations, and hindrance. Your fixed perceptions might be causing unnecessary frustration or hindering an opportunity. Break free from negativity, take a step back, and find a creative solution to this confined situation. So the only one holding you back from all of this is you. It's that simple. So it's your choice whether you step forward and it's your choice whether you step forward into this new world that will bring you so much more joy, that will feel so much more stable than anything that you've lived to date, and you'll be comfortable in it because you're embracing who you are. So that's going to be incredible. And if you're not ready to do it, ultimately that's your choice. But just know you're the only one holding you back. There's nobody else doing it. So now we're moving on to the Work Your Light Oracle cards by Rebecca Campbell. And the card that just jumped out is Mirror. Who or what is triggering you? So is there something that's triggering you? Is it a thought? Is it a memory of something? Is it the threat of losing someone? Is it fear that is holding you back? These are the things, and I mean, this is part of shadow work, figuring out what our triggers are, figuring out what it is that's restricting us and why these things are restricting us. So that may be the question that you need to ask in order to get the answers for you to be able to step forward into that next chapter. Play, have fun, celebrate, don't be too serious. So again, it goes back to this card, the Cosmic Dancer. You have to embrace those moments. You have to celebrate the good things that are happening in your life. If you stay focused on the negative, you get more negative. So, and you know what? There's nothing more freeing than when your life is falling apart. And I'm not saying that that is what is happening. I'm using the most extreme example that I can come up with. When everything around you is burning and something really funny happens or a joke happens and you just laugh. Oh, there is something so freeing about that. I keep seeing visions of when we were planning my mum's funeral and we looked psychotic. We would be crying hysterically 1 minute as we're making the arrangements, and then somebody would remember some stupid joke that my mum used to make or something that was said, some memory from our childhood, and we would start laughing hysterically like crazy people. Like, are we bipolar? What's going on here? The reality is it was that humor and those moments of levity that got us through one of the darkest moments of our lives collectively. I've got 3 sisters. So when I say you have to celebrate the good and funny things that happen. And I don't believe that what's going to go on for people that are making this shift is going to be anywhere near as dark as any of the examples I just gave. But if we can laugh through those moments, you can laugh as these other things are shifting. And by doing that, it also opens up space for more to come in. So the next card out from this deck is Align Your Life. What's not aligned needs to change. So again, confirmation that of everything that we have said, that there are these shifts that need to take place. You're not aligned and it's time to shift it. So just remember, you're the only one restricting yourself. Okay, I'm going to pull one more from here and then we'll go to the last deck. Priestess, how are you being called to step up and lead? So I've been talking for weeks, if not months, about the people that are watching this. And I understand I don't have the biggest audience on YouTube. I've got an incredible audience on High Vibe, and I'm grateful for every single person that watches and interacts with these videos. I don't advertise and I don't do it on purpose because I just trust that these will end up where they're meant to be. I'm not doing this as a way to make money. It's just something that I'm called to do. But I've been saying that the people that are watching these videos are light workers. And I've been saying for ages, like, is it time for you to step up? Is it time for you to level up? And it's not that everybody needs to be doing something on a mass level. but we're all being called to step up. We're all being called to do the work and help those around us. Maybe that's all it is, but just know that that call is still happening. And if you've been putting off doing the work, maybe that's where you need to align your life. And it could be as, you know, watching more videos or reading a book and learning more about a particular facet of the spiritual community, whether it be the work Dolores Cannon does and having a deeper understanding about life and reincarnation, whether it be learning astrology, human design, Reiki, I mean, oracle cards, tarot cards, I don't know. But the conversations you're going to have with others are going to be very impactful. And you have the ability in you. And so it's time to listen to the calls that are coming through. Okay. So this is the Spirit Animal Oracle, Colette Baron-Reid. Everybody knows I love the animals. So Swan Spirit just jumped out while I was saying all of that. Time for a deep dive. I mean, it always makes me laugh that, so this is a 68 card deck, that these cards can have such a succinct and direct message. And using 3 decks, it always blows my mind that I can pull from all 3 decks and the messages always align. It always blows my mind. Even when I pull the cards for the monthly readings that I do, and I pull the piles and set it all out, and I don't look at anything ahead of time. And as I'm pulling it, it always blows my mind that the messages are so succinct and clear. There's nothing jumbled. There's no questions about it. So just know that it is time. It's time for us to go deeper. All right, I'm going to pull 2 more. I was only going to pull 1, but I feel like it needs to be 3. Next card out is Pig Spirit. Use your mind wisely. So do not let yourself go into that victim mentality. Do not allow your mind to get the better of you and talk you out of what it is you're meant to be doing, especially if there's a spiritual pull in a direction that you're meant to be going, whether it be about stopping you from being the chameleon that's doing what you need to do to please those around you, or if it's just about the work that you're meant to be doing in terms of leveling up where you are with your light work. Sometimes we sit there and we talk ourselves out of doing a course because we're scared we're not going to be good enough, or we're never going to grasp it. If you have watched a number of episodes of Gemini Rising, every single person that we've had on the show, the universe has kind of pushed them in a direction. And as soon as they start, and each time they've all started in their respective fields, they knew nothing. But the second they started, it all fell into place and they grasped the information and they were able to absorb it quite quickly. You have to start, though, to see where it's going to land you. Even if it doesn't absorb super fast and it takes you a while to get there, doing the work shows the universe that you're there and you're prepared to do what it is you're meant to do. And maybe that first course is just a stepping stone. Maybe you're talking yourself out of picking up the book because you don't have time, you're tired. Read 2 pages before you go to bed. Just don't let yourself or let your mind talk you out of what it is you're meant to do. Use your mind to program yourself to understand what it is you're meant to be doing, and, to tune in and appreciate the good things that happen along the way and the bright moments, and celebrate them and enjoy them. And if somebody new is presenting themselves into your life, embrace them and see what they can bring to your life and what you can bring to them. Don't be closed-minded. Don't be closed-minded this week. All right, and I'm just going to pull 1 more. Owl Spirit. You see clearly now. So you already know what it is you're meant to be doing. I feel like a lot of this reading is really confirmation, and I feel like you've probably known all of this, but maybe this is just the kick in the pants that you needed to get moving and get going with what it is you're meant to be doing and making the changes that you need to make. So, and maybe it's that once you start, that's when you'll see clearly. But I promise you, making these changes, everything becomes easier. I hope this resonated with, sorry about that. I've been talking for a lot of hours at this point. I hope this resonates with some of you, if not all of you. As I always say, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Not every reading is for every person, and that's absolutely okay. As I've already said, I appreciate all of your support, whether it be on High Vibe or YouTube. And make sure you go and check out that episode of Gemini Rising with Jessica Carmody, the self-care librarian. I will put the link to that episode in the description below here on YouTube. And I will see you all next week for the weekly Oracle Wisdom. Tuesday, Anne and I will be doing Gemini Rising with Alex Skiles. And of course, I'll be in the studio on Friday for Full Disclosure with David. It's already been a huge week and we're only a few days into it. And as always, thank you, Anne.